ayusin lang natin to guys para marinig nyo tayo. Kamusta kayo dyan? Okay. Okay. Ayan, kamusta kayo man naman? Ito, nabulol ako kasi may mga nag-comment ka. Yes, sir, shoutout naman dyan kay Nilen. Guys naman, let me concentrate. Medyo seryoso yung topic natin. Ito guys, sa pag-usapan natin. This is it. Okay, medyo may konting hidwaan na nangyari sa Senado. Two letter R's fighting over letter Q, right? So, Senator Robinhood Padilla pushing back strong against, Senator RISA Hontiveros' version of an expose and growing advocacy by Senator RISA Hontiveros to go after the alleged owner of a major media network, or not so major media network, that is now besieged and the franchise of which is increasingly up for grabs. And of course, this is also about someone who is wanted in the United States. This is also someone who's very close to former President Rodrigo Duterte. So ito na. Mayroon tayong mga hidwaan over that. Sa daming topic naman na gusto natin pag-usapan over the week. Medyo I overlooked that and overlooked that in terms of discussion, not in terms of following the news. And of course, wag natin kalimutan na when it comes to Philippine politics, Senator Rizal Hontiveros is the de facto leader of the opposition. I mean, obviously, she's not the only prominent opposition leader out there. Kasama dyan si Congressman Franz Castro, who has been taking up the cudgels for education-related issues. After all, unlike someone, meron siyang background sa education, meron siyang alam sa issue ng education. And of course, this is also a person who pushed for, essentially press charges against the former President Rodrigo Duterte for allegedly openly threatening her in public pa. And not only at any time, but during the time of her grief. And of course, there are a whole number of other opposition leaders we can talk about, especially women opposition leaders. I mean, before that, shout out naman dyan kay former Senator Leila de Lima. Thank you very much, Senator Leila de Lima, for also expressing solidarity dun sa binuking natin na sinisensor talaga tayo ng TikTok. I don't know if they have been shadow banning me, but in this case, it's a total censorship na nangyari, because clearly anything that I post related to the West Philippine Sea this week at least. I don't know about the other weeks because I am not very active on TikTok. I'm very active on Twitter, obviously. May binuking tayo the other day, mga kamets, diba? Ito yung anything that I post related to West Philippine Sea, it doesn't get published. On my side, deceptively, TikTok says that, it's published, but there's no view and all. It's hard to get 0 views when you have hundreds of thousands of likes and tens of thousands of followers on TikTok, right? I'm not very active on TikTok, but from the limited activity I've had on TikTok, I know how it works. So pagtingin mo from outside, pala hindi pala siya published. So gladly, a number of people have been looking at this. Some international news channels have been looking at this, and they have been seeking to get official comment from TikTok Philippines, at least on this issue. And TikTok Philippines, I know, are you guys betting propaganda effort by a hostile country that is trying to deprive us of exercising sovereign rights within our waters? What are you guys doing? Okay, again, this is just a question. I'm yet to get any decent explanation from them. Maybe they cannot provide any decent explanation, right? Or palusot. Let's see what TikTok Philippines gonna say about this issue. Thankfully, I really don't need TikTok. It's just like my number 5, 6 platform, whatever. But it's important because we know that this is a very viral platform. A lot of people are active on it, especially younger generation. So I'm engaging it, but I don't depend on it to get the message out there. We have, thankfully, hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and different platforms. So maraming salamat sa inyo lahat for giving me that platform, because I don't need to rely on mainstream media. I don't need to rely on organizations, any institutions, on oligarchs or whatever to get my message out. I can get my message out on myself, and we are on multiple platforms. So maraming salamat sa inyo for your support, for giving me this voice. And always I want to make sure I use my voice in the best way possible for the interest of the country, but also interest of humanity, because I'm not here just for yung mga katribo ko lang, or something like that. I'm also here to speak in behalf of all of the people who are, stepped upon, all of the people who have the boots to their neck, all of the people whose narratives, whose stories, whose tragedies and sufferings are overlooked, or a lot of people who are being collectively punished, literally, figuratively, and in many ways. So yun ang ginagawa natin sa voices natin. And having said that, that's why I never hesitate to call out any company. Whether it's Facebook, I called them out 2 years ago. Whether it's Philippine Airlines, mahal ko kayo, pero may size kayo. Yung mga aircon sa likod, paki-on naman. Pag punong-puno yung airplane, wag naman sana masyadong mainit na feeling Boracay sa stratosphere. And of course, ito naman, TikTok, no illusions. As I said, I use a burner phone for TikTok. So, that's why, I barely use it, because it's like on whatever phone. And once in a while, I try to post there. But since gumawa tayo na maraming shorts, pinaghirapan natin, and sabi ko, might as well put it on TikTok, because this is really for, short attention span kind of discussion, right? And then, doon na booking ko, na pag West Philippines-related issues, ito, hindi nila pinapublish, no? It doesn't get published. It deceptively shows that uploaded on my site, but it doesn't get published. And it looks like a dumb algorithm, because it looks like they don't know if this is Richard Hidarens, who's going to openly expose them, right? They're dealing with someone who is very carefully following efforts by China and China-led companies and institutions to silence voices of reason, silence voices of international law, silence the voice of smaller countries like the Philippines. Anyway, maraming salamat kay Senator De Lima for expression of solidarity doon sa pinost natin kahapon. Salamat also kay Gretchen Ho, yung kasama natin dyan sa TV5 One News, my colleague there, and who was also in the Christmas convoy going to the West Philippines that was turned around. Salamat also sa kanya for posting something, and also giving advice accordingly to deal with this TikTok situation. So ayon kay Senator Leila De Lima, Richard Hidarens' observation on how social media app TikTok has been censoring or blocking his posts on the West Philippines issue is disconcerting, to say the least. Revolting as it is, the China-made app may indeed be expected to carry out such a policy of blocking what it perceives to be anti-China influencers, but this only shows how far TikTok is from free speech standards of Western social media, where Chinese propaganda even proliferates. Sabagay naman, I mean, you can post, tingnan mo naman yung mga katatay natin, ang dami mga pinupost na pro-China. Nandyan sa Twitter, andyan sa... That's a very good observation, Senator. That's a very good observation. I mean, obviously, there have been accusations, including by people that I know, against Instagram and Western, social media for shadow banning them or censoring them because they're expressing views that are sympathetic to Palestine, for instance, right? So, I'm not romanticizing Western tech companies, right? But the reality is that there's no comparison between China-led companies and Western-led companies, right? There are levels of hypocrisy and double standard, and then there's the level of companies living within a dictatorship and essentially a single party, or the man in charge of a single party having the final say on anything that any company based in China is doing. So let's get things clear on that. All right. Now, a while ago, actually, I was talking to also a colleague of mine at the Asian Center, University of the Philippines. She's actually, she's a visiting scholar from India. In India, TikTok is banned. Like 100 Chinese app and whatever products are banned in India, and they seem to be doing perfectly fine in India. So apparently life can go on without TikTok. And in India, there are influencers making a ton of money. There's a lot of creativity there. If you look at Netflix series, napakaganda yung mga production ngayon ng India. So we were talking about this TikTok issue and then what happened to me, And she was saying, yeah, we in India, we have no problem. Get rid of TikTok, all is good. Now, obviously, I understand marami tayong mga kaibigan na ginagamit ng TikTok for their essentially living, for livelihood, etc. So I'm not for ban actually of TikTok per se, but this has to be investigated, and TikTok Philippines has to be held accountable if they're indeed found to be censoring West Philippines related content, right? Anyway, having said that, of course, thanks to former Senator Leila De Lima for raising this issue. So obviously, I've been looking also at what has been happening in the Senate, because in-expect ko naman sana naman yung may basta Senate, medyo galaw-galaw naman, di ba? At pag-usapan natin itong mga seryosong issue na to, because we may need a new legislation. We may need at least investigations and scrutiny of disinformation, pro-China disinformation. Not only from the DDS camp or Tatay's camp, but from some interesting camps, right? All of that has to be looked at in a very serious way, because our freedoms and our democracy should not be undermined, right? I mean, after all, again, there's no reciprocity. Is Facebook and TikTok allowed? Is Twitter allowed for ordinary Chinese? No, they're all censored. All right, just that's the kind of country we're dealing with here. Now, I love Chinese culture and civilization. I have many great friends of Chinese descent, whether they're Chinoy, whether from mainland China, whether from, I don't know, Taiwan, whatever. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They're fantastic people. I love their culture. I love their society. But I have serious disagreements with some of the policies of the Communist Party of China, especially the West Philippine Sea. That's a serious, serious concern and serious area of disagreement between us. Now, having said that, as I said, I have also criticized the West for their double standard on a lot of issues. You know, I hope they're also as concerned with collective punishment as in other parts of the world as they have been in the case of Ukraine, for instance. You know, I can raise a lot of issues about the wrong things that the West has done, interventions in the Middle East, you know, all of those people victimized in the war in Iraq, the horrible way that the US got out of Afghanistan. So I can go on and on without that. So I don't need a lecture about that. But katulad ng sinabi ni Chris Tan kahapon, he said something very good. Sabi niya, sometimes you just have to keep it simple. Do not allow others to muddy the water by adding too much information. In fact, that's part of the disinformation strategy. You add many factual but unrelated but semi-unrelated information to overwhelm so that people cannot think clearly. All right, so that people cannot think clearly. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. In fact, I had a term for that. I call it poisoning the well strategy, right? But in fact, sometimes you don't even need poison, right, to overwhelm. You can actually throw a lot of facts, seemingly unrelated, incongruous facts, just to muddy the water. And a lot of whataboutism. Oh, galit ka sa China, bakit? Yung US naman ganito. So sometimes it's important to know what to look at and what to cast away so that you're clear about your objectives and you're clear about your standards and you're clear about your convictions, right? And in this case, yes, maraming ginawang mali Amerika all around the world and sa ating kasaysayan, pero pagdating sa West Philippine Sea, hindi natin kalawan ng US. So, hindi ko na alam kay Harry Roque, ex-human rights lawyer, aka spokesman ni Digong, no? Yung mga sinasabi niya na we don't want to be involved in intramural of superpowers. What kind of nonsense is that? This is about Philippines' own sovereign rights in the West Philippine Sea. So please, let's not pirate the pro-China line, okay? Now, China wants to treat us as an extension of America. Ibang usapan yan. They're conspiratorial minded. I cannot blame them. They're communist, right? But when it comes to the Philippines, we are fighting for our own rights. And in this case, in the case of TikTok and potential censorship, I'm still giving them benefit of the doubt. This is how nice I am, but you know, we know how things run. I'm just saying, you know, we also have to make sure na hindi binababo yung ating demokrasya, hindi binababo yung ating freedom of expression to push for the agenda of hostile countries. So, speaking of that actually, mukhang si Senator J.V. Ejercito, medyo nagwawala siya kahapon. Ang inaaway niya yata itong binalak ko na, anong pangalan niya? Yung mukhang Kim Jong-un na, yung troll, DDS troll, na mukhang Kim Jong-un. Ano yun? Sino yun? Ito. Mark Lopez ba yung pangalan nun? Yung mukhang Kim Jong-un, hinamon pa nga ako ng Kim Jong-un na yan eh. Dati, parang, wait lang kuya, medyo, you know, I do martial arts, I got a black belt in Taekwondo, I do boxing of that, you know, may tinatawag kaming weight classes, okay? I'm not gonna fight with the super heavyweight, alright? I'm a middleweight to welterweight guy, alright? Okay. You know, I'm barely 6 foot tall, I'm just under 6 foot, and you know, so I cannot, you know, yun lang, sir, okay. Anyway, may sinabi itong si Senator kahapon inaway itong Kim Jong-un boy na yan. Sabi niya, wala nang kakapal pa sa mukha ng kayang ibenta ang kaluluwa. Oh, ito gusto ko itong palaban okay itong boy boy Kim Jong-un. Alright, check natin to Ito. Huwag kayo mag-alala, pumunta na tayo kay ROBINHOOD. Ito lang, we're just going through the rounds, okay? Itong mga Senate na yan, Ito, nag-aaway si Senator ito. Sabi niya, wala nang kakapal pa sa mukha ng kanyang wala pang kakapal pa sa mukha ng kayang ibenta ang kaluluwa sa China at isasakripisyo ang sariling bayan tulad ni at Mac Lopez 769. 69 talaga. Okay. Kailanman di ko ipagpapalit ang ating bansa, wag maging makapili, mahalin natin ang ating bayan, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Ayan, nag-response si Boy Kim Jong-un. Sabi niya, ilabas mo, ebidensya mo, hindi yung pura ka lang, porma at taktak. napaya ka na, kapalmoks na lang ang love. Ay, but, ibang klase itong mga trolls na to. Kaya binalak ko na lang mga to eh. Not worth engaging. Aba, blue check ba siya? Now, in fairness kay Senator Ejercito, I think he realized na he got a little bit medyo, sir, relax lang. Okay, sabi niya, Twips, I apologize if I blew my top in engaging a disrespectful vlogger who's been attacking me. That's true, sir. Bastos talaga yan. Kaya binalak ko na lang yan. At itong Kim Jong-un na yan, nag-aamon ng mga ibang tao na, welterweight. Anyway, ang di ko talaga masikmura ay ang pagkampi nila sa China at talikuran at pagtaksilan ang sariling bayan. Di ako natakot sa epekto sa politika dahil ipinaglalaban ko ay tama. Okay. Pasensya na guys. Okay, I'm just trying to read it. Okay. Uy, tapos sabi ni Mark Lewis, grabe, ang pa-victim. Ay, talagang, bakit, sir, huwag kang magpatrol dito. I-block mo na lang yan. Walang yayan eh, yung mga troll na yan. Block mo na yan, sir. Not worth engaging. Kasi siyempre, traitor. Pag tinawag ka ng traitor ng isang senador na medyo matino-tino, di ba? But in general, ang point ko naman, biglang ang daming mga matapang na senator ngayon sa West Philippines. I mean, I'm not talking about anyone specific. Pero, ang tanong ko, kamusta kayo nung panahon ni Digong? Ano mga sinasabi nung panahon ni Digong? Biglang ngayon, tapang-tapang iba. But ito naman yung friend si Senator Ejercito, kaibigan natin na interview natin during elections. This is quite sensible. At least among the Estradas, he's the one that, the sensible guy. Alright, okay. The good one, kumbaga. Now, balikan natin itong mga komento very quickly because I have to have another mag-ibang podcast tayo shortly. Mag-ibang podcast tayo shortly. Ilang message lang ako dito. No problem. Sorry, Okay, sorry nagmo-multitask na naman tayo. Ako na nga yung talent manager. Ako yung host. Ako yung producer. Ako yung guest coordinator. Lahat na lang. Ako na lang lahat. Pati yung bayad ng electricity lahat. Na naman tayo. Okay naman, okay. Now, ito na guys. Let's go to the meat of the discussion. We went through Senator De Lima. We went through Senator J.V. Ejercito. Now naman, pag-usapan natin ang paborito ng bayan ay si Senator ROBINHOOD Padilla in the house. Yan. Si Senator ROBINHOOD Padilla pushing strong against itong advocacy by another senator. Well, in this case, quite a veteran senator. Kind of knows what she's talking about. Pero ibang usapan na yan. Baka we get into trouble. Ito. Labas ko lang to Ayan tayo eh. Ay, mali. Nasaan na yung mga ko? Wait lang guys Okay, let's first of all look at the context here. So Hontiveros, Senator Hontiveros is pushing for into kind of a focus investigation about Pastor QUIBOLOY. Pag-usapan natin yan. Ito. Relax lang kayo dyan. Sorry about that. Okay. So, Senator RISA has formally requested the Department of Justice to issue an immigration lookout bulletin order against controversial megachurch leader Apollo QUIBOLOY as the senator intends to investigate sexual abuse and human trafficking allegations allegedly involving his religious group. Sabi ni Senator RISA sa kanyang letter sa Department of Justice, in the interest of justice and due process, it is my strong desire to ensure that he will be physically present in the Senate for the hearing. So she's pushing for a hearing because the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality is set to probe the reported cases of, quote, large-scale human trafficking, rape, sexual abuse, and violence and child abuse by allegedly by this personality who's close to former President Duterte. According to the notice issued, the Hontiveros-led panel will conduct its public hearing on January 23. Paki-calendar yan. January 23, 2024 at 10 a.m. Ayan na. Yung mga SMNI natin dyan. Baka mukhang nagre-regular na yung mga SMNI people dyan sa Senate ngayon. Mukhang favorite, sila yung bagong favorite Okay. Okay. Okay, akala ko may... Hindi, kasi nilinis natin to mamaya kung anong pumasok. The Senate, okay. DOJ spokesman Miko Clavano on Wednesday said na yung ahensya will not be issuing the lookout order just yet unless there's an ongoing investigation. However, nag-acknowledge siya ng Senate probe may be enough as what happened during the Chamber's inquiry into the Farmali scandal. Oy guys, naalala niyo yung Farmali? The Senate investigation in Davao City-based pastor stemmed from Hontiveros' resolution on privilege speech earlier this week. No? Ukol dito sa mga allegations laban sa pastor na yan. And as you know, of course, on February 5, 2022, the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation released the wanted posters for QUIBOLOY and 2 other members of his church on allegations of sex trafficking. In the Philippines, QUIBOLOY faces 2 complaints, one for libel and one for rape, child abuse, and qualified trafficking in persons. Sabi ni Clavano said both were dismissed at the prosecution level or pending review at the Department of Justice. Ay naman kay QUIBOLOY's legal counselor, Ferdinand Topacio, ayan. Kaya sabi ko, bago nagkaroon ng Harry Roque, diba, yung mga ganyang abogado, meron naman tayong Topacio. Sabi ni Ferdinand Topacio, challenge na yung Hontiveros to bring her allegations to court instead of the upper chamber, claiming yung senador na yan is not credible person when it comes to presenting testimonies. Like, wait, what? Who is questioning whose credibility? Ebang talaga. Only in the Philippines. Sino yung I am Japanese? Sino kaibigan natin dyan? Gozaimashite. Okay. Ibang klase naman to. This is interesting. This is a very interesting situation. Alright? Okay, now, hindi lang naman si Topacio ang nagdi-defend sa kaibigan ni Tatay Digong. Meron din mga malalakas na senador dyan. Especially, no less than the senator that went number 1 in last year's elections for the Senate. Obviously, alam niyo naman mga kameta, ang eleksyon naman talaga sa atin mga kameta ay base sa merit. So kung number 1 ka sa Senate, ito ay dahil siguro ikaw ang pinakamagaling. Ikaw ang pinakamay alam sa constitutional debates, sa governance, sa public administration. Ikaw ang pinakamagaling. Kaya number 1, ROBINHOOD Padilla in last year's Senate election. So, of course, kung number 1 ka naman at kaibigan mo naman si wag ka na ma-surprise kung may ganito silang pushback dyan. Alright. Padilla opposes call for Senate probe on abuses. Sabi ni Senator Robinhood Padilla, yung bid ni Hontiveros to investigate religious leader and self-proclaimed, honestly, I don't want to say this, I'm a religious person, so I don't want to say anything blasphemous. Okay, anyway. Self-proclaimed, alam niyo na, okay, feeling niyo. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, I'm a religious person, okay? I'm sorry about that. I do my scripture, I do my of that, so I'm sorry, okay? There's only, even from the Catholic doctrine, right? The Son of God, we know who's that. Okay, anyway. Ito. So si Robin Padilla has pushed back against that and sabi niya yung press briefing that cases such as this offend. Andres Bonifacio. What? Anong kinalaman ni Andres Bonifacio? Ito guys, kayo na magbasa nito, medyo kakaiba to. My Lord. Okay. Ito. Kaya nang humusga yung mga logic ng itong napakagaling natin senator. By the way, open na invitation natin. I just interviewed Senator Raffy Tulfo, who was many expected to top the Senate race, and I'm open to interview also Robinhood Padilla. Sir, kung okay ka lang, pag-usapan natin, expert ka diba? Pag-usapan natin mga bagay-bagay. Mabait naman yan si Robinhood. Kailangan lang niya to meet people like me more para naman Ito. Ano daw yan? Offense daw yan kay Andres Bonifacio. Anong kinalaman ni Andres Bonifacio? Kasi araw ng Andres Bonifacio. Hindi ko talaga maintindihan ng mga to. Karapatan niyang isulong yan, pero syempre kami, ako lalo, nangangati ako pagkakaso ng puti. Ano daw? Pagkaso ng na offense si Andres Bonifacio. Ayoko talaga, pero kung sa Pilipinas wala akong mga gawa, Pilipino yan eh. Pero kung ang pagbabasihan natin ng ang ay korte ng ibang bansa, no, ano? Ano daw? I'm not sure that RISA Hontiveros is making this move solely based on the fact that, I don't know, FBI or something. Like, what? That's quite a logical leap. English natin, i-translate natin na it's our right to promote that, but of course we, especially me, I itch when it comes to cases prompted by white people. Parang racist yun na. Cases such as this offend Andres Bonifacio. That's quite a leap. I really do not want it. Bakit si Andres Bonifacio lang, boss? Bakit hindi si Rizal? O, yung nandito. Bakit hindi si Aguinaldo? Bakit hindi si ano? Ang dami kong pwedeng pangalanan. No? Tara, pag-usapan natin ang kasaysayan ng Katipuneros. O sige, sir, go lang tayo. By the way, sir, alam mo ba, idol ni Andres Bonifacio si Rizal? Sino naging inspire kay Andres Bonifacio? Kasi siya yung nag-play nung pelikula. Ay, artista eh. Cases such as this offense, I really do not want it, but in the Philippines, I can do anything as a Filipino, but if our base is the court of another country, no way, like, okay, alright, okay, whatever. So yon, so ang attack niya is sovereignty. Itong sovereignty natin. Which raises this very interesting question. This is very interesting, and let me end on this point, right? Because that perfectly sets a tone for our next episode. Let me, ayusin natin yan, kasi pwedeng kong gawin short to eh. Sayang. Oh, ito. Okay, ito. Pawisan na ako, na-stress ako. Okay, ito guys Ito. Ayusin natin. Medyo ayusin natin. Pang shorts yan. Pa-edit ko pa yan. Kaya, 1, 2, 3. Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Alright, ito. This is one of the most interesting things for me. Pagdating, ayan, nasira yun. Ulitin natin. Okay. This is one of the most interesting things to me, no? Pagdating sa issue ng International Criminal Court or any potential judicial investigation, when it comes to people close to a certain camp, you know what that camp is, biglang go sila for national sovereignty. Go sila for Filipino independence. Go sila for protecting of the Philippines' dignity and sovereignty and integrity and all of that. And then, pag binuli tayo ng China, in your face na binuli tayo, not once, not twice, but many times, half a dozen times, over the past 6-7 months, nung over the weekend pa lang, double incident nangyari, binuli yung convoy natin ng civil society na Christmas convoy, binuli yung ating yung resupply mission na nandun yung ating military chief of staff, yung Armed Forces of Defense chief of staff, Ron. Lahat din yan nangyari, wala silang sinabi. O, nasaan na yung issue ng sovereignty? Ha? Nasaan sa tingin nyo ba si Andres Bonifacio maging tahimik kung ginaganyan lang tayo ng ibang bansa? I don't care if it's China, Russia, whatever. You think Andres Bonifacio would have been quiet kung ginawa sa atin yan? Alright? That's my problem. That's my problem. Alright? You want to talk about independence and national sovereignty, well, what on earth have you been saying about the West Philippine Sea? What on earth have you been saying about the bullying of the Philippines? Aside from gaslighting the Philippines and blaming the Philippines for standing for its own rights. Alright? This is not just logically problematic, to put it nicely. I'm just controlling myself. I can be more mean about this. But this is something far worse than that. Something far worse than just preposterous logic or double standard. Okay? I'll just be clear on that. On that note, thank you very much, everyone. I hope na-appreciate nyo ating Andres Bonifacio. Kala nila sila lang may Andres Bonifacio. Excuse me, sir, kami kasi nagbabasa talaga kami ng mga, yung mga totoong libro, may totoong scholarship kami, binabasa namin yan, alam namin yung katotohanan, alam namin yung konteksto, alright, hindi lang kami nagpo-posturing dito, nagpapogi dito, alright, diba? Okay, anyway, timing lang tayo, sorry guys kasi papunta na tayo sa next episode natin, discuss natin ng West Philippines and North. Medyo dito, minit ang ulo ko when I hear, I just have, teacher ako eh. So I try to be very patient. Pero kung ting ko yung estudyante hindi nagbabasa, tapos ang daming sinasabi, the obviously hindi niya binasa yung reading, ang daming sinabi, sometimes like, diba? Respeto naman dun sa mga ibang estudyante nagbabasa at maayos ang ginagawa. Yun lang naman sa akin eh. I'm an educator, so that's how I approach it. All right? Thank you very much, guys. God bless, and talk to you soon. Whew! Thank you very much, guys. Sorry, medyo minit ang ulo natin. Pero huwag kayong mag-alala. Papunta na tayo sa next, natin. We're gonna have another interesting discussion. Pag-usapan natin West Philippine Sea. So that was the perfect transition for that. Talk to you guys soon, guys.